Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 7 of the 2022 American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. We are here today at South Boston Speedway. I don't know why I was about to say Seedway. Anyway, the legendary Sobo. We are here today, again, for race number 7. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as per usual. Folks, I hope you all are excited and ready for the action here tonight. It has been an incredible season thus far. These drivers have put on in some phenomenal racing, and for the first time, we were able to witness, for the very first time here on the Team Goon Squad channel, road course racing here with American Sim Racing Club. The last time that we were here and tuned in for the action here with American Sim Racing Club. But now that we are back to our normal scheduled programming here at Sobo, back to our traditional short track ovals that we are used to seeing here. Drivers currently putting down their qualifying laps here as they work their way around the track. A few drivers have already put down their qualifying lap here today, and you can see on the left-hand side of your screen their best times that they were able to put down here at Sobo, as there are just a few other drivers left to put their times up on the board here. Jackson Lewis, the 14.68, putting himself at the very tippy top of the grid here. Matthew Catania sitting in second place. Hayden Swank going to be in third with a 14.75. Matthew Catania with a 14.70 as his best time here today at Sobo. Nick Fleury able to put himself up there into 5th place. You can see Brett Hahn as well, just in 4th place there. So we're going to see some pretty tight, pretty intense action here today at Sobo, as per usual. Drivers going to be clicking off some pretty fast laps here. We're seeing lap times of just over 14.5 seconds, obviously, as indicated by the timing tower. So we're going to see some pretty fast racing here throughout the field, and frankly, given that today we are going to see 15-lap heat race, rather, given that normally if there are a certain number of drivers, usually I think it's just over 20, the field is separated into 2 separate heat races, but because of the low numbers here tonight, we're going to drop things down into a single heat race, a 15-lap heat race. That kind of gives drivers a solid opportunity here to be able to have a fair chance at, well, having a fair heat race, if you will. So, with that out of the way, with that in mind, our drivers have made their qualifying runs here. Drivers are currently lined up out on grid, and let's go ahead and take a run through our starting grid here. Austin Nielsen, the number 52 machine, going to be starting out in 1st place. Teddy Wisniewski, the 26 machine, in 2nd place. David Payton starting off in 3rd place here in the number 38 machine, with Andrew Payne in the number 93 taking 4th place. Ron Hart in the 051 taking 5th place. Brett Hahn in the number 71 machine taking 6th place here today, rounding out your 3rd row. Nick Fleury in the number 25 taking 7th place. Hayden Swank taking 8th place here today. Matthew Catania in 9th. Jackson Lewis in 10th place. Justin Callahan in 11th. Excuse me if you just heard that. That was my bad. Charles Darling in 12th place. And as we move along down the grid here, Jason Griffith in 13th. Nathan Henry in 14th. John DeMeester in 15th. And Tanner Tallarico still showing up on our grid as per usual, as he is he's the guy overseeing the race, making sure that everything goes as smooth as it possibly can here today at Sobo, as well as every other race that we see here for the Super Late Model, as well as the Mountain Dew Modified Tour, as well as just American Sim Racing Club in general. Tanner Tallarico, the owner and founder of American Sim Racing Club, doing a fantastic job in everything he does throughout his week, managing this league here. And all of these fantastic drivers that we have currently making their way out on track here today. Now, folks, I got a little something special for you. I have been putting things through the works. I had to get things set up a little bit last minute, but everything is working pretty well smooth. And folks, we do have picture-in-picture here for these races now. We get to see a little bit more action of the field in kind of a different perspective. as the pace truck makes its way down into pit lane. And there we go. We are green flag racing here. The restart zones that iRacing put into effect just today, actually, already showing here at South Boston Speedway. I love to see it. But let's get into the action here today. Austin Nielsen, the number 52 machine, battling here with Brett Hahn in the 71 car. Here as you got a great view down. Oh man, we already got Brett Hahn. What happened, Brett? No! Brett Hahn here having a little bit of a moment. Not exactly certain what's going on here for Brett Hahn here at this moment in time. Let's go ahead and back things up here in the replay and see if we can get an idea of what exactly is going on here at this point in time. Oh, you see David Payton there got a little bit loose there for just a moment. Keeping an eye on Brett Hahn. Oh, he just gets loose out of two all on his own. Keeping it down on the bottom wall, down the back straightaway. Able to avoid anyone else kind of getting themselves collected into that incident there. Great work from Brett Hahn as usual. I mean, just great control over the car. Really being able to get that car locked up, prevent it from getting into the wall any worse than it probably already did. It looks like there's not a whole lot of damage on there either. So again, Brett Hahn, very experienced driver here in the American Sim Racing Club. So, as the caution flag is out here for the very first time in our heat race here today, things are, well, things are always kind of a little bit iffy here as the pace truck dives back down, and we are back to green flag racing here once again. I'm kind of loving this new implementation that iRacing has added, as far as the restart zones and everything like that. It is absolutely fantastic. Things are just moving and grooving here. Austin Nielsen already trying to get himself away from this field here, doing everything that he possibly so can to work his way or get himself a nice comfortable gap here between himself and the rest of the field. As we're going to get a side-by-side view of what's happening here with Brett Hahn as we try and follow along with the action up front. Making their way into turn one here once again. A little bit of a shuffle here just behind Nick Fleury between Matthew Catania, Charles Darling. Oh, Charles getting a little bit of a tap there from Justin Callahan, almost sending him sideways. Very, very good work there from Charles, able to keep it together. Justin Callahan trying to do all that he can to make a pass here around Charles, if he can possibly do so. And tonight, I forgot to mention, is also a throwback night here for the American Sim Racing Club, so we get to see a lot of great old paint schemes on the drivers' cars here tonight. You got paint schemes from real life series, as well as just old paint schemes that drivers might have in the vault that they want to bring back out and showcase here tonight. Man, look at this. Ron Hart right on the tail of Hayden Swank here. This is the battle for second place. Jackson Lewis able to get himself up into first place here. We missed that pass here, unfortunately. Austin Nielsen starting to fall back here into fourth place now, as Jackson Lewis now going to be taking that first place spot. The caution flag flies here once more with John DeMeester here in the number 2 machine. It looks like he got himself a little bit of incident here on the front straightaway. Let's see exactly what unfolded here for John. Looking at John DeMeester here. Coming out of turn 4. Ooh. Yeah, comes out of turn 4, gets loose out of the rear end. Collides with the bottom wall just before the checkered line. Not a whole lot of damage to that number 2 machine, it looks like, either. It looks like it, it took a pretty good impact there, but I don't think it's going to impact John DeMeester's race by any meaningful amount here at this point. He's going to have to take it to the back of the field here and start at the tail end once things are all said and done, once the pace truck makes its way back around and back down into pit lane. So, right now, our running order: Jackson Lewis, Hayden Swank, Ron Hart, Austin Nielsen, David Payton. Going to be rounding out our top 5 here on this restart. Coming down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3. Once we come out of turn 4, it'll be back to green flag racing here once again. And there they go. Jackson Lewis, excuse me, with a great launch here. We're getting an inside camera view of Justin Callahan down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. All of these drivers falling relatively single file here for the most part. A few drivers trying to find some room down on the inside line, and right now, I mean, obviously that's the preferred line here at this point. That's the fastest way around the track. As the next caution flies here, and it's going to be Charles Darling involved in this one, the 88 machine, who, man, we've seen a lot of great performances out of Charles Darling here throughout the American Sim Racing Club series, whether it's Super Late models or the Mountain Dew Modifieds. It's always surprising to see our strong drivers having these moments, but let's take a look here at what happened here with Charles, the number 88 machine that we're looking at with now. Andrew Payne just behind him in the number 93 machine. It looks like there was a little bit of contact between the two. We're going to do things a little bit odd here. We're going to back things up here. I just want to see the moment. Yep, there it is. Boink. There he goes down into the bottom wall. Charles Darling going to get sent back to the rear end of the field here. That is going to hurt the start of the 88 machine's race here tonight going into the feature. 75 laps that we're going to be doing here at South Boston once the checkered flag flies here for our heat race. So Jackson Lewis here still going to be our leader here at this point, and it's yet to be seen whether or not he's going to have any sort of competition to respond to his dominant lead here that he's had so far. Green flag is out once again. 3 laps left to go. This is the final shootout here at South Boston for our first heat race of the night. Jackson Lewis, Hayden Swank, Ron Hart, all in our top 3 here at this point in time. As we cross the line, it's the final lap. We got a little bit of battling happening towards the rear of the field between Justin Callahan. It looks like Brett Hahn, he's able to work his way up into 9th place here. The checkered flag's gonna fly. Jackson Lewis taking it across the line for first place. Hayden Swank in 2nd. Ron Hart in 3rd. Austin Nielsen in 4th. And David Payton taking it in 5th place. Now that driver's going to have a little bit of time to warm up here. We are going to take a look at our first heat race results. Again, Jackson Lewis taking home 1st place for that. Hayden Swank in 2nd. Ron Hart in 3rd. Austin Nielsen in 4th. And David Payton in 5th. Nick Fleury in 6th. Matthew Catania in 7th. Nathan Henry in 8th. Brett Hahn in 9th. And Justin Callahan in 10th. Now that we have a little bit of time here while drivers are getting themselves warmed up here for the start of today's race, I want to bring up someone up here into the booth, Mr. Brett Hahn, and I want to hear it from the man himself, what exactly unfolded here in the number 71 car. Brett, sir, I know you are getting yourself a little warmed up here before the start of the race here, but I just have one question for you. Brett, that was an absolutely brutal way to kind of, I don't want to say end your heat race, but man, coming out of turn 2, sliding down to the bottom of the back straightaway like that into the wall. Man, that is, oh man, I'm sure you were not too thrilled about that one.
Yeah, Mason, we just lost a little bit of talent there off the 2, I tell you what. And, I don't know what happened. We got loose at the apex and never saved it, and yeah, just the driver absolutely lost talent.
Man, you know, I hate to see it too, Brett. You've been a really, really strong contender here in the series, and well, obviously, you know, you're leading in the championship at this point, and to have kind of a slip up like that, I mean, what does that kind of do for you mentality-wise?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of blow to it, definitely, especially spinning all by yourself like that and in a good spot to maybe win a heat race and get some playoff points and get some overall points to help carry the championship. So definitely hurts, but we'll come back stronger, use it to our advantage.
Absolutely. I love to see, you know, yourself out there week in and week out just performing the way that you do. But Brett, I want to get yourself back out on track there, get yourself warmed up before the start of our feature here tonight. Good luck to you out there, and I hope to get to talk to you again here at the end of the night.
Yeah, Mason, same with you. Hopefully we'll be talking to you in the top 3 after. We got a long way to go, but we're hoping for the best.
Let's get that podium. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, folks, that is Brett Hahn out of the booth here, having a word with the number 71 driver here for just a moment before he gets himself going here for tonight's race. Getting a little bit of an idea of what it's like to, well, have an unfortunate event happen to you when you're sitting second place in a heat race, basically for qualifying for the feature. Rough. Absolutely rough. But I have no doubt in my mind, Brett Hahn, we've seen it time and time again, that 71 machine has moved and grooved its way through the field and up into the tippy top time and time again. It is not all that unfamiliar for Brett Hahn to work his way through these fields. It's impressive. It's absolutely impressive. So with that in mind here, folks, as we just have about a minute left here before we get ourselves ready to go here for our feature race, you know, I'm pretty excited. We've seen a little bit of what we're going to expect to see for the rest of the night, given our first heat race here, but things are kind of shuffled around for our heat races, so it doesn't really give you a true idea of what it's going to be like these first 10-15 laps, these battles that we're going to see. It gets intense. It gets intense really fast, and this is a short track. Again, this is where American Sim Racing Club thrives, is short track oval racing. And frankly, the battles that we get to see throughout these fields week in and week out is just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm excited to see it. I hope you all are excited to see it back home. If you are watching and enjoying what you are seeing so far, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. All right, so there is the checkered flag. That is going to conclude the driver's warm-up here before we get ourselves into the lineup of our feature race for today's event. In first place, it's Jackson Lewis in the number 7 machine, with Hayden Swank starting off in second place, rounding out the first row. In third place, Ron Hart in the 05-1 machine, with Austin Nielsen in the 52 starting off in fourth place, rounding out your second row. David Payton in the 38 taking fifth place. Nick Fleury in the 25 in sixth place, rounding out our third row. Matthew Catania in seventh. Nathan Henry in eighth place. Brett Hahn in ninth. Justin Callahan in 10th place. Jason Griffith in 11th. Teddy Wisniewski in 12th place. And moving along down the grid here, Andrew Payne in 13th. John DeMeester in 14th. Charles Darling going to be in 15th here at the start of today's event. So, now that our drivers have got themselves lined up, stacked up behind the pace truck, and ready to go here for tonight's event, folks, this is going to be quite the interesting race here, I do have to say. Getting ourselves lined up behind the pace truck, rather. It'll be a short lap around Sobo, and we will get to green flag racing here for the very first time. There goes the pace truck, and away we go, heading off into turn one. Jackson Lewis, oh man, look at Hayden Swank dropping down onto the inside line, cutting off Ron Hart from trying to get any sort of line, any sort of speed advantage that well, not necessarily speed advantage, but trying to find any opportunity to make a potential pass here. Coming down the back straightaway, look at Nick Fleury here, battling with Matthew Catania side by side. David Payton just ahead of them. Look who's just behind them. It's Brett Hahn. Coming across the checkered line, heading into turn one once again. This field looking mighty, mighty here at this point in the race. Let's go ahead and take a side-by-side view of what's going on down here on track. You can see both what's happening on track here on the left-hand side of your screen, as well as Matthew Catania's in-car camera in the 318 machine. So it looks like John DeMeester as well had a moment all on his lonesome here just a second ago, but we didn't catch it on camera. Might have been a little bit further back in the field, but either way, either how, it didn't bring out the caution. It was able to keep the race green flag. Great to see all the action here from our field. Looking a little bit further back here with Andrew Payne sitting in 12th place here at this point in time. He's got Teddy Wisniewski just ahead of him in the number 26 machine, sitting in 11th place. You see John DeMeester there. Very slow on track here at this point in time. I'm not sure if he was just letting the field by or what he's got going on there, but either way, either how, nothing's going to come of that. I just love how hot those brakes. You can see how hot the brakes are getting on these cars. You can see the orange glow. Charles Darling here in the 88 machine, starting to pull in to the rear bumper of the 26 of Teddy Wisniewski. Very, very close there for Charles Darling. Almost making contact there, it looked like there for just a second. Let's go ahead and get an in-car camera view. So you can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, Charles Darling Battling here with Teddy Wisniewski there for a moment. We're going to tune back in here with our leaders here for just a moment as Hayden Swank starting to pull in quite close here to the rear end of that number 7 car. As we're on lap 16 now as they cross the checkered line of 75 here for today's race at South Boston Speedway. Man, look at that. Hayden Swank getting right onto the bumper of Jackson Lewis. Great driving from all of these drivers. You can see Austin Nielsen as well, the number 52 machine. We've got kind of a 4-car spread here for the lead, and just behind them, it's even closer. Looking at Nick Fleury here with Brett Hahn, Matthew Catania, and David Payton. Brett Hahn, who's been trying to work his way up through this field, you know, it's starting to look like it's going to be a lot harder than it might seem. You know, these laps are ticking off very quickly here, and with how this field is starting to run, it doesn't look like there's really a whole lot of opportunities for passing. It looks like it's a lot of just keeping it consistent. Really is the name of the game. Consistency is going to be absolutely vital here, and that's definitely starting to show here, I think. Here as we're looking with David Payton and Matthew Catania, let's go ahead and ride on board on the inside of Matthew Catania's machine here for just a moment. Let's have a listen to the sights and sounds here at South Boston Speedway. Right along here with Matthew Catania. So you can really tell just how much you have to be very, very careful on your throttle. It's very touchy here. You don't want to get on it too much. You're going to send yourself spinning out. You don't want to be on it too little. You're going to be too slow going through the turn. It's a very fine game of balance that these drivers are having to face right now. A lot of them doing a fantastic job of it here at this moment. Brett Hahn, David Payton, Jackson Lewis, I mean, all of these drivers here that have continued to keep this race green this long. And, oh man, Brett Hahn starting to look a little spicy here. Duking it out with David Payton, a little bit of contact between the two drivers. Nothing really coming of it other than a few sparks and probably a little paint lost off the cars. But nonetheless, the battling's still happening out on track between these drivers as they come down the back straightaway. David Payton getting right up close to Nick Fleury in the number 25 car. And here as we have an in-car, the same in-car camera that we had a little bit ago with Charles Darling, he's caught back up here to Justin Callahan. He's right on the bumper of Justin here as well, so you get a little bit of an idea of what it's like here in both worlds, if you will. So lap 31 of 75. We're just about to the halfway point here already in this race. Again, lap times very quick here. Not going to see these drivers really taking their time, so to speak. And frankly, a lot of our drivers up in the front of the field starting to see quite a bit of distance between themselves. Between Hayden Swank and Jackson Lewis, it's starting to look at about a second between these two drivers. Between Ron Hart and Hayden Swank, we're looking at just about a second and a half between these two drivers. And looking at Austin Nielsen just behind Ron Hart here, he's just about a half a second behind, just over that at this point. But nonetheless, you know, given how long we've seen this green flag run here, I don't expect to see any drivers really kind of make any major sort of changes or big moves here to what they're doing already. I mean, if the lap's consistent, if you're moving through the field relatively quickly, and you're not seeing a whole lot of issues, you definitely probably can just keep things moving and grooving here as the field is continuing to do so. Frankly, it's starting to become a little interesting to track these drivers across the field. You know, we're seeing this is essentially the densest battle pack that we have here between Matthew Catania all the way down here to Andrew Payne, who's at the tail end of this pack, if you will, from 5th place all the way down until 9th. And then just behind them, oh man, Andrew Payne getting awfully close to the rear end there of David Payton. As we are taking a look here with Justin Callahan, this is kind of the next closest pack that we have. Justin Callahan, Teddy Wisniewski, Jason Griffith, Charles Darling, and Nathan Henry. All going to be stacked up kind of very loosely here as well, as we get a very good picture of what exactly we're kind of looking at here as far as timing and pace-wise. But up here, this is where a lot of the action is starting to unfold and getting really exciting here. It's kind of this mid-pack. Brett Hahn already working his way into 6th place here. Nick Fleury hot on his heels. David Payton is, ooh, John DeMeester gets a little bit of a wall scrape, trying to let the other drivers on by. John DeMeester unfortunately getting served a little bit of bad karma here tonight, it seems. Maybe not bad karma, but bad luck, however you want to see it. As we got an exciting battle here between Jason Griffith, Nathan Henry. Ooh, man, oh man, door to door between these two drivers. Lap 45 of 75 here. These two drivers are driving it like it's the last lap. Henry on the outside line, not going to have quite the speed that he's looking for to be able to make that pass around Jason Griffith. Jason going to be the one on top of that battle here as he's worked his way into 11th place here. So these drivers all still stacked up single file. Not really pushing each other too much, not too aggressively, and that's, frankly, as a driver, you couldn't ask for a better situation to be in, you know, not having people, you're being raced hard, but you're not being raced dirty, and that's what I love to see. You know, you got really good competition out here that all love to just have good competition, good racing, and a good time at the end of the day. Overall things, if you're not having a good time, then what are you doing? "25 laps left to go here," as it's come across our ticker there on the top of our screen. And again, this field has gotten quite spread out through the kind of the top portions of our field here. We're still kind of tuning along here with the kind of mid-portion, mid-pack here. Nick Fleury, Brett Hahn, David Payton, Andrew Payne. This is sort of where the battle seems to be here at this point in time. And frankly, I'm just loving to see it. So here as we get an in-car camera view of Andrew Payne at the tail end of this pack here as they continue to work their way down the back straightaway. Look at Nick Fleury just giving that wall a little bit of a kiss. David Payton, Brett Hahn, side by side, door to door here, down the front straight. Oh man, they are just bumping doors with each other. Coming down the back straightaway. Look at Andrew Payne trying to find a gap between these two. He's going to opt to take the bottom line here, coming down the front stretch into turn one here once again. He's got Brett Hahn on his outside. Talking about Andrew Payne here. David Payton going to allow these two to duke it out behind him and try to increase his gap. Oh man, a driver's gotten loose. Matthew Catania with 18 laps left to go. Quickly getting himself back onto track. Man, oh man. Things are getting spicy here with 18 laps left to go here at South Boston Speedway. For round number 7 of the 2022 American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. You can still see Andrew Payne's in-car camera view down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen as he tries to do everything that he can to keep with David Payton and maybe eventually try and make a pass here as Brett Hahn has seemingly fallen back here. I'm not exactly certain where that took place. I must have been looking away at my other screen there for a second. You know, that's how fast things happen here, folks. It only takes a moment for something to happen in a race, and then you're just wondering what happened. And then you gotta rewind it, go back, and figure out what happened. Anyway, point being, racing is a sport where attention is key. And right now, you know, I want to show this to you all, just to give you an idea of what the field is looking like here at this point in time. So if you're taking a look at the left-hand side of your screen, you will see the distance between all of our drivers in seconds. So, and you might be looking at this if you're not exactly someone who follows racing, if you're kind of new to racing and you're looking at that and you're thinking 3 seconds, 5 seconds, oh, that's not that bad. You can make that up, no problem. Easy peasy, right? I have some unfortunate news for you. It takes an eternity, unfortunately. And, you know, looking at these times right now, it's kind of I don't even want to say a double-edged sword, because this has been phenomenal racing that we've seen this entire race. With 10 laps left to go, it's been 65 laps of green flag racing here at South Boston Speedway. You know, given that we saw the heat race, things were a little bit iffy. We'll use that word. We'll use iffy for that. We only saw, I think it was 2 cautions. It might have been 3. I think it was only 2. Either way, either how, when you kind of go into your feature race and think to yourself, what can we do to make that better? And then you pull off this, man. Things get interesting. And a lot of drivers, too, you know, they'll expect, maybe not expect, but they'll anticipate cautions. You know, they'll expect there's probably going to be a little bit of beating and banging amongst drivers, and that's usually right. There usually is, and we have seen a little bit of that here tonight. But it's been clean, consistent, all the way through. And for any of these drivers that may have been looking to secure a podium, secure a win even, it's tough. It's absolutely tough. And as we have 5 laps left to go here, that clock is ticking. There's not a whole lot of time left for these drivers. And right now, as Jackson Lewis has just crossed the line, it's 4 laps left to go here at South Boston Speedway. And folks, I don't anticipate. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna hold that thought. We're gonna continue to see what action we have unfolding for us down here on track. Man, look at Andrew Payne, David Payton trying to work their way around that looked to be Nathan Henry lap traffic. And here we see 2 laps left to go. Brett Hahn, Matthew Catania side by side here between these two drivers. Let's head on down and take another look at our side-by-side view. The final lap is here. The checkered flag is out. Jackson Lewis has taken home the win here with Hayden Swank in second. Ron Hart in third. Nick Fleury going to take it across the line for fourth. Austin Nielsen in fifth place. Here we can see on the bottom of our screen the rest of their field. Well, the rest of the field from the eyes of Andrew Payne from his helmet camera. And that is going to be the end of race number 7 here for the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series. Here as we have our post-race results. Jackson Lewis taking home first place. Hayden Swank in second, Ron Hart in third, Nick Fleury in fourth, Austin Nielsen in fifth place, David Payton in sixth, Andrew Payne in seventh, Matthew Catania in eighth, Brett Hahn in ninth, Charles Darling in 10th, Jason Griffith in 11th, Teddy Wisniewski in 12th, Nathan Henry in 13th, Justin Callahan in 14th, and John DeMeester in 15th. It's going to round out our finishing results here for today's race. And as we go ahead and get ourselves ready for post-race interviews, just give us one moment here, folks, as we get ourselves... Oops. Aw, that is not what I wanted to do. Anyway, anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for our post-race interviews. Just ignore the instant replay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Anywho, anyhow, the first driver that we are going to have up for our post-race interviews here today is going to be Mr. Ron Hart, taking home third place here tonight, the 05-1 machine up here on the podium here at South Boston Speedway. Ron, welcome to the booth, sir. You have a read.
Yeah, I got you, Mace.
Ron, after really an interesting race here tonight at South Boston, I mean, I was kind of, excuse me, I was teetering on the edge. You know, I was not really certain if we were going to see a full green flag race here tonight. I mean, it's kind of rare that we usually see a race with no cautions. I mean, at least one, but tonight was different. And for everyone here, I think it was kind of maybe a shocker. What do you think here tonight, Ron? Walk me through your night and tell me what led to your success here and taking third place.
Yeah, it just didn't work out, man. We had good speed. I felt like, I don't know if we could run with Jackson, but I think we should have finished second probably. Saved some tires the first half of the race and just got too far behind. You know, we needed that caution to get caught back up and really see what we had. Didn't pass anybody. Started third, finished third, passed a couple lap cars. So don't really know what we had. You know, never got a chance to try it. So disappointing in that aspect, but there's worse things than third, I suppose.
Yeah, you know, and you just brought up a great point. I actually didn't notice that until just now. Our running order, our top three, are actually all the same from where we started. So I'm a little surprised by that. I wasn't exactly anticipating that, and I think that's actually the first time that's happened here in any of the races that I've ever called here on Team Goon Squad. So that's just phenomenal. A lot of interesting events unfolding here tonight, Ron. But I mean, again, taking home a podium, you got to be feeling pretty good about that, despite kind of the long green flag run here throughout the entire race. Again, like you said yourself, not really having that opportunity to get the field racked back up again and having that shot at being able to give Hayden Swank and Jackson Lewis kind of a run for their money. Keeping that all in mind, what does that kind of give you going forward, going into next week at New Smyrna?
Yeah, just got to rethink the strategy, man. If you know we're not going to get any cautions, you can't get that far behind. So it's just kind of a crapshoot with it. You save tires and let them get away and hope that they bunch them back up, or if it stays green, you're just not going to catch back up. So Have good speed tonight. I think we'll have good speed next week at New Smyrna as well. That's one of my better tracks, so hopefully we can do a couple spots better there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight, Ron. But before we let you go, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank?
Yeah, I think mom and dad are watching tonight. Short race, but hopefully they had a good time and enjoyed it. Thanks for doing the broadcast, man. You do a nice job with it, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you next week at New Smyrna. Smyrna. I keep saying that wrong. I'm sorry. Have a good one, Ron.
See you, man.
All right, folks. That is Ron Hart, the 051 machine, taking home third place tonight on the podium here at South Boston Speedway. Up next is going to be Hayden Swank, the number 35 driver, taking home second place here tonight. Hayden, another decorated driver here in the American Sim Racing Club. Hayden, welcome to the podium here at South Boston, and man, what a race that you had here tonight.
Yeah, no, it was a solid race for us. I just burnt my right front off too early. It was just like I was tight through the center, and I tried to get in earlier just to kind of hook the bottom and roll, but didn't pan out in the long run. But it was still a solid run. Huge shout out to Jackson. He had a good race there. Just disappointed, I guess. Still looking for that first win out here. So it's coming soon, I hope.
Man, this was brought up here with my conversation with Ron Hart just a moment ago. The race didn't see any cautions. Now, I said the same thing to Ron. I wasn't exactly certain whether or not we were going to see a caution or not. Usually, when we go to kind of these short tracks, we expect to see maybe one. At the very least, one. Do we see a full green flag run? Not always. I mean, having this 75 lap green flag run here tonight, what does that kind of do for yourself in the 35 car?
Yeah, being able to put a full race together like that and not rely on any misfortune or anything like that, that gives me a huge boost of confidence going into the rest of the season. We still got a pretty big points gap to work back, but hopefully we have a good run next week at New Smyrna, and I think this will do a lot of good for this Overtime Chevrolet going into next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a fantastic battle here with Jackson Lewis. I mean, kind of walk me through that. You said Jackson had a real good car tonight. What was it like trying to just keep up with that 7 machine? I mean, it just looked like after a certain point in time, he was just able to kind of carry away with his lead, with his gap. I mean, was it just he just had the better car, or was it just you were just having maybe a little bit of not the best night here at Sobo?
Yeah, no, this is one of the best runs I've had here in this series and at Sobo in general in a while. So I definitely ran good. It was just really tough to make a move happen on him. So I was really trying my best to get around him. Early in the run, I could kind of keep up with him, fake make it work for 15, 20 laps, and then he just pulled away. And then at a certain point where I just started trying to save my tires just in case we got, a late caution, and I maybe got back to him and had a chance at the win, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, Hayden, I want to congratulate you on taking a second place here tonight at Sobo. And before we let you go, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone at home or in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
Absolutely. Always thank Overtime, GM, Chevrolet, supporting my career. It was a good run for us, and first win's coming. It's coming.
It'll come. Just be patient. Maybe it might even be next week. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and find out.
Definitely. Thanks again, guys.
Absolutely, Hayden. Good luck to you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. All right, so that was Hayden Swank, the number 35 car, out of the booth here, taking home second place here tonight. Last, certainly not least here, Jackson Lewis, the winner here tonight at South Boston. Jackson, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, sir, I do.
Jackson, welcome to the booth, and man, what a heck of a win that you had here. Once you were able, I didn't catch it up here in the booth. I was a little preoccupied looking at other things on the track. It was a little busy out on track, but you made that pass around Austin Nielsen. Not exactly certain what happened, but once that happened, it was pretty much the Jackson Lewis show after that. We didn't see hardly any competition coming your way. I mean, Hayden Swank was doing all that he possibly could to keep up with you, but he even said it himself. He had the best run here that he's ever had at South Boston, and he couldn't even come close to touching the 7 machine tonight. So walk me through your night, Jackson, and kind of tell me what led to your success here.
Yeah, we just showed up and we had speed all day. I really like this place. I ran a lot of laps around this and just official stuff and hosted stuff and whatnot. But yeah, just had a lot of laps around here. One of my favorite tracks, and just kind of suits me well and how I drive. So
absolutely. Well, it was a really, really great run here that you had, and frankly, I mean, considering that we had a full 75 laps with all green, I would almost be partial to say that it played in your favor. I mean, there definitely was a lot of, well, maybe not a lot of, but there was definitely a moment where Ron Hart mentioned that a caution could have potentially put himself up there competing with yourself. I'm sure Hayden Swain could have said the same thing, and frankly, there's other drivers here I'm sure would have had a opportunity to maybe take a stab at that first place. I mean, were you anticipating a caution at all tonight, or did you come into the night just hoping that everything would just stay green and work in your favor?
no, I kind of figured that there was going to be a caution. I really played the tires real safe. I saved a bunch that whole race. I kind of figured at the end, once I got a pretty sizable lead, I really backed it down quite a bit from there and just made sure that my tires were going to be on it for if there was a caution that came out. Towards the end there, I started giving a little bit more just to see what the car had, and I was a little scared that there was going to be a caution come out and have one of those guys give me a shot for it and see if they could put a bumper to me or whatever and get it from me, but nothing happened.
Yeah, man, I can't tell you how I was on the edge of my seat, for the end of that race. Kind of the last 10-15 laps, I was like, man, something's got to happen here, but nothing did, and everything just played out exactly the way that it did, and it was great to see. Jackson, you were able to take home a win here tonight, but before we let you go and celebrate, crack open a cold one here tonight, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone in the pit crew or watching at home that you want to shout out and thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you, Mason, for the broadcast once again. Always doing a great job. Tanner for running this whole deal. He does an awesome job. Wish he got more cars tonight, but that is what it is, part of it. And I'd just like to thank www.rkmsetupshot.com if you want any. We're actually on dirt now, coming up in season 3, I believe that's what this is, but we're on dirt with some of the dirt cars, and then we got a new NASCAR builder too as well, so hopefully we have some great success in both of those on the short track, the dirt, and the eNASCAR stuff. But if you want to come check it out, our Discord's new and revamped, even more R&D stuff. Come in there. Always people in there, always people willing to help and give you tips and tricks or whatever. So just come on and check us out.
Absolutely. Well, Jackson, thank you for coming up here and joining me in the booth. Congratulations on taking home first place, and I look forward to seeing you next week at New Smyrna.
Yeah, hope to talk to you again.
Absolutely. All right. Oops, that's not where I want to be. I put the wrong person in the wrong place. All right, folks. Well, that is going to be Jackson Lewis rounding out our post-race interviews here tonight. Folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching tonight's coverage of race number 7 of the 2022 American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Touring Series here today at South Boston Speedway. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action and coverage here tonight. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one next week at New Smyrna. Same time, same place. Thank you all, and I will see you next time.